Francisco is a relatively known name and people are familiar with it. But in your family's case, people associate Francisco with one particular thing, jeepneys, no?
Yes.
And now e-jeepneys. You have
yes.
that progressive direction. So why politics?
Actually, I didn't have any plans of running. The group of people who convinced me to run are the transport groups. They're saying they need a voice in the Senate, saying that some of them are running with party lists, but if you pass laws or bills in the House, it needs a counterpart in the Senate. So otherwise, nothing will happen.
Wala kayong maasahan sa Senado na who to champion your cause?
Actually, meron tayong mga kinakausap sa Senado. Pero ang problema is they don't have first-hand knowledge regarding the jeepney or the sector itself and business. Mabibilang mo lang actually yung yung mga nasa Senado natin na alam talaga yung mga hinaing ng mga transport groups or transport sector.
Okay.
Kaya nga maraming nagrereklamo ng mga transport groups.
Very quickly, because as you said, you're a Francisco Motors. When you say first-hand experience and first-hand knowledge,
Yes.
maybe give us the 1-minute version of your growing up in this sector.
Okay, so our family had been building jeepneys for 72 years already, since 1947. Personally, I'd been building jeepneys for 27 years. So, yung first-hand experience ng paggawa, kaya kilala ako ng lahat ng mga transport groups, especially their leaders. Kasi even their parents, nakakasama na ng father ko before. So, natutulungan natin. Then, meron kasi tayong ginawa before na boundary hulog system. So, it's easy for especially OFWs na makabili ng jeep. So, they know me by name. They know me firsthand. So, we had been working together. Kasi ang Francisco, hindi kami nagbebenta ng jeep. Ang binibenta namin ay kabuhayan. So, we are making sure that their families can live with that business. Yung sa jeep. Kasi hindi lang yan basta jeep na para lang may masakyan. It's a business. It's a livelihood for their families. Because every jeepney, there are 2 families na binubuhay niyan. Yung pamilya ng driver, pati pamilya ng operator. So, if you just take away the jeep, 2 pamilya ang mahihirapan sa kada jeep. Now, there are 180,000 jeepneys that has to be replaced because of the PUV modernization program. How do we bridge that? So, ang ginagawa ni Francisco, yung boundary hulog system pa rin. So, yung kinikita nila now, yung monthly income nila, hindi maapektuhan maski mag-amortize sila ng jeep because we stretch the payment terms. But, like what I said, they were the ones who convinced me to run. Bakit? Kasi napakaraming problema na kailangan ayusin. Lalong-lalo na sa larangan ng sektor ng transportation. Ang problema dyan, unang-una, napakamahal ng jeep. Diba? Ang jeep ngayon, dati ang jeep namin, 300,000, 400,000, 600,000. When I built my prototype, when I was asked by Secretary Tugade to build a prototype. Sabi kasi ni Presidente kay Secretary Tugade, pagawa mo kay Francisco or kay Sarao. Because we started it.
This is a prototype of what kind of jeep? It's a hybrid, it's a diesel type?
Initially, I was planning to create a prototype using yung diesel. Kasi we had been doing this. Ever since 1960s, we had been using Isuzu na engine, yung C190 pa ng Isuzu before. Then, we shifted to Mazda. So, sanay kami sa mga diesel. But the problem was, when I created the prototype, I discovered na ang mahal ng powertrain. So powertrain pa lang milyon na. So nasa 1.4 million ang powertrain pa lang. So
This is for electric.
No, that's for diesel.
Diesel pa rin.
Yes. So what I did in order to pull down the cost of the powertrain, I told the diesel manufacturers kasi puro foreign puro foreign companies. I will build a full electric prototype. So when this works, you'll be out of business. So that's what I told the foreign manufacturers. So they try to pull down their price. Kasi ang goal natin dito is mapababa yung presyo ng jeep. So otherwise, it would be pointless because you want to replace all of the jeepneys. But the market cannot afford the new jeepneys. So how can we go about it? How can we implement that?
Magkano ba kinikita ng jeepney driver ngayon?
Actually, depende sa ruta. Kasi meron mga ruta na mas mahaba, mas maraming pasahero. So, ilagay na lang natin na siguro, in a day, nag-average siya ng mga 2,500.
Take home yan?
Yeah. No.
May boundary
maghahati pa yan, ha?
May boundary
Yes.
pa.
Boundary.
Kasi maghahati yan.
Yung take home niya.
So, it depends. Siguro mga 1,200 or 1,000 pesos. It depends sa ruta. Kasi meron mga ruta na mas malaki talagang kumita. So, but the point here is, the program of the government, yung PUV modernization program, is good. Maganda yan. It's one of the biggest non-infrastructure project of our president that we should support. Kasi maganda yan. Para yan sa, sa comfort ng ating mga passengers, ng
Maganda
mga
yun sa
mananakay.
commuter. But
Yes.
how come we're hearing a lot of opposition from the drivers and
Actually,
operators?
it's about the affordability of it.
Namamahalan nga daw
Yes,
sila.
namamahalan. Pero pagtanungin mo sila, we had been meeting almost every week with the transport group leaders and the drivers. Wala sa kanila ni isa na ayaw mag-drive ng bagong jeepney. Lahat
Pero
sa kanila, they want a new one.
Of course,
we're
yes.
certain
Of course.
that, but yung,
What?
ang tanong sa kanila
Yes.
siguro is, magkano kailangan ko ilabas
Yes.
para? Give us some comparative
Yes.
numbers.
Now-
For example, in
Yes.
diesel, magkano yan? Yung hybrid, magkano kaya?
Yes.
Magkano yung full electric? Some comparatives.
Actually, now, when we check lahat, even yung sa amin, ang presyo is nasa 2 million per jeepney.
That's for what kind of...
Ilanan yan?
Diesel and and electric.
Pang ilang
Diba?
pasahero yun?
2 million to 2.2 million, more or less.
Yung electric na is
that's
how much?
24-seater, 2 million.
Is 2 million.
Yes.
Dose
Yung sa
ham.
amin. Yung sa amin, 2 million yun. So, 24-seater with standing passengers. Because sa jeepney ngayon, nakakatayo ka na sa loob. Unlike before, then yung entry nasa side na. So, you can have up to 30 passengers, including the standing passengers. Now, the point is, paano natin pabababain yung cost ng jeepney? So, that's one of the reasons also why I'm also running for public office para mapababa yung cost. The program of the government, yung PUV modernization program, is good. Maganda yan. It's one of the biggest non-infrastructure project of our president that we should support. Kasi maganda yan. Para yan sa comfort ng ating mga passengers, ng
Maganda
mga
yun sa
mananakay.
commuter. But
Yes.
how come we're hearing a lot of opposition from the drivers and
Actually,
operators?
it's about the affordability of it.
Namamahalan nga daw
Yes,
sila.
namamahalan. Pero pagtanungin mo sila, we had been meeting almost every week with the transport group leaders and the drivers. Wala sa kanila ni isa na ayaw mag-drive ng bagong jeepney. Lahat
Pero
sa kanila, they want a new one.
Of course,
we're
yes.
certain
Of
that, but yung,
What?
ang tanong sa kanila
Yes.
siguro is, magkano kailangan ko ilabas
Yes.
para? Give us some comparative
Yes.
numbers.
Now-
For example, in
Yes.
diesel, magkano yan? Yung hybrid, magkano kaya?
Yes.
Magkano yung full electric? Some comparatives.
Actually, now, when we check lahat, even yung sa amin, ang presyo is nasa 2 million per jeepney.
That's for what kind of...
Ilanan yan?
Diesel and and electric.
Pang ilang
Diba? Nasa
pasahero yun?
2 million to 2.2 million, more or less.
Yung electric na is
That's
how much?
24-seater, 2 million.
Is 2 million.
Yes.
Dose
Yung sa
ham.
amin. Yung sa amin, 2 million yun. So, 24-seater with standing passengers. Because sa jeepney ngayon, nakakatayo ka na sa loob. Unlike before, then yung entry nasa side na. So, you can have up to 30 passengers, including the standing passengers. Now, the point is, paano natin pabababain yung cost ng jeepney? So, that's one of the reasons also why I'm also running for public office para mapababa yung cost. Paano natin gagawin yan? Ang kailangan natin is national industrialization. Because without that, we can never build our own engine.
What
We have
does
the
that mean?
capabilities.
What's national industrialization? What does it mean exactly?
Yes, national industrialization. We should build yung mga natin. Like for example, in this case, we should build our own engines. We have the capabilities. We have great engineers, mechanical engineers, Filipino mechanical engineers and electrical engineers who work for foreign companies abroad as OFWs. Ang problema, how can we build yung mga engines dito para sa transportation or for agriculture na wala tayong steel industry? So, that's another one. So, nakita ko rin yan because I also served with PESA, or Philippine Economic Zone Authority. We had been inviting foreign companies and also domestic investors to invest in our economic zones to provide jobs for Filipinos. Ngayon, isa to sa pinakamalaking pwedeng makapagbigay ng trabaho para sa mga Pilipino if we build these engines here in the Philippines. Because that's one of the yung mga gusto mangyari ni President Duterte,
Yeah.
to create jobs.
You're talking about the need to bring down the price tags of jeepneys. But to do that, you cited the need for, number one, industrialization, and number two, building up a steel industry. These are long-term projects down the road. You're going to take so many years for that. How do you intend to do this in the next few years?
Okay, in the short term, there are plenty of things that we could do. One is to incentivize more. We got to give more tax breaks for companies that are building mga electric or renewable energy. We have bills in place, pero hindi na i-implement Hindi na implement ng tama, or maybe we could amend some of those bills to incentivize renewable energy or yung mga mas environment friendly na tinatawag. That's one. Next is we should give more subsidy para dun sa sa pagbili ng bagong jeepney. Because the subsidy that the government is giving now is only 80,000 pesos. For a 2 million jeepney. So, kaya nagrereklamo yung mga natin, mga transport groups natin. So, how can 80,000 pesos tas kailangan mo i-surrender yung old jeepney mo that is worth 300 to 500,000 pesos to get an 80,000 subsidy. So, those are short-term solutions na kailangan nating ayusin. And of course, while working on the short term, we should also think of the medium and long term. Of which, ang kailangan talaga natin gawin is to industrialize. Because now is the time. We cannot start 10 years from now. The best time to start is now. Actually, we're late. Dati ginagawa na natin yan. We had yung Anfra before, na AUV, ng Francisco Motor. Pati yung Pinoy before, na until now, ginagamit pa sa CCP, yung mga orange na mga utility vehicles. We had been building these vehicles before that are 85% Filipino-made. Or at least Philippine-made. Di ba? So, ang problema, hindi na natuloy yun. We could have already ngayon ng mga 100% na Philippine-made na mga sasakyan if only our laws are supportive of yung mga local brands natin.
I'm wondering about the 2 million, no? Kasi I took the e-jeep sa Las Piñas. I will not mention the company, but they already have several units in place. Ang presyo nila for a 22-seater passenger is only 1.6 million.
Yeah.
That's for 25 pala, and for 22, 1.4. How can they do that?
Actually,
and it was a very nice ride, very quiet. Walang dami-daming ventilador, all solar powered. It's a combination of solar and electric. I think you know which company I'm talking about. It's actually foreign,
Yes, it's
foreign. It's Australian technology.
Yes.
Makakahabol ba tayo sa ganon? Because
Now,
it's quite popular, punong-puno ng tao.
Yes. Now, ayokong manira ng ng ibang brand, di ba?
So, hindi mo tayo magbabanggit ng
But like, for example, when they say it's solar.
And they partnered with Department of Transportation as well. They launched in Cebu.
Yes. Actually, yan yung nirereklamo ng mga Pilipino. Di ba? Ang nirereklamo ng mga Pilipino, ang jeep natin, dapat jeep pa rin because it's part of our culture. You should not change the iconic design of the jeepney. You can modernize it, but it should still be a jeepney.
Well, it looked like
That's
a cross between a jeep and a bus.
Yes.
A
Number
minibus.
2, you cannot possibly claim that it's solar powered yung jeepney. You cannot call it a solar jeepney. I myself am a physicist. I know how it works. You cannot possibly charge the battery of an electric jeepney using solar panels on the roof of the jeepney. The only things that those solar panels can power are the electric fans.
Yung electric fans nga
So,
daw, sabi
it's
nila.
misleading when you call it a solar jeepney. So, para sa akin, niloloko nila yung mga Pilipino kung sasabihin nila na solar jeepney yun.
Hybrid yata, solar and e-jeepney.
Yeah. So, when you charge those electric vehicles, it will take them mga 8 hours,
8 hours.
to charge it. Then, number 4, it's foreign. Anong benepisyo ang nabibigay noon sa manggagawang Pilipino? Wala. Diba? Ang mabibigyan lang nun ng trabaho, yung mga sales force. Pero, yung mga Pilipino na manggagawa ng jeep, sobrang dami niyan. Yung ating mga welders, yung mga latero natin, mga painters, lahat ng mga workers, di ba? Dapat Pilipino yung nakikinabang dyan. So kapag ang tinangkilik mo foreign brand, di ba? Ang binibigyan mo ng trabaho ay yung mga foreigners, hindi yung mga Pilipino, na dapat para yan sa mga Pilipino. Kaya, actually, one of the objectives of the POV modernization program is to provide jobs for Filipinos here at home. So, that project defeats the purpose.
Well, this
Ngayon,
company daw,
Yeah.
oh, sige.
Now, I know why they are, kung bakit nila pinapayagan yung mga foreign brands na sumali. Kasi, they're pressed for time. The OTR is pressed for time. They want to implement the POV modernization program. Pero wala pang mga local counterparts na lumalabas. Because of the problems that I said a while ago, mahal nga eh.
In
kapag
fact,
dito.
people are looking at your company
Yes. Oh.
to
Yes.
provide the competition.
Yes. Now, madaling gumawa ng jeep. Sobrang daling gumawa ng jeep. Even at my garage, I can build a jeepney. I even built the prototype at my garage. It's so easy to build a jeepney. The problem is the affordability of it. Dahil nga sila foreign brands, pag bumili tayo ng powertrain sa kanila, sobrang mahal.
Are you concerned about EJKs in the war on drugs?
Yes, of course. For me, human life is sacred. Hindi pwedeng patay ka na lang ng patay. Kaya nga tayo merong legal justice system na kailangan nating sundin. But for me, hindi dapat pumapatay ng tao.
Are you in favor of lowering the age of criminal liability?
Of course not. Kasi children needs love. They don't need to be criminalized or penalized. Diba? So ang kailangan dyan, direction and guidance.
Your opinion on abortion?
No, definitely. Human life is very sacred for me.
No qualifiers if she's a victim of, for example, rape or incest or nothing at all?
No.
Absolute.
No, absolute.
Same-sex marriage or at least recognizing civil unions?
Yes, actually, I'm for same-sex union, especially because of the reasons of yung like for nasa hospital yung magkasama na partners. Naghahanap ng blood relative, walang blood relative. So, hindi siya makapag-decide for his loved one or her loved one. Hindi pwedeng ganon. We should give them the same rights as everybody else.
Sex education for children, and at what age, if you're in favor?
Actually, yes, they should be educated. Pero sa akin, ngayon siguro, high school level is good enough. Kasi ako, na-experience ko na rin yan, di ba, sa school. So, siguro, mga grade 7 onwards, pwede na yan. Kasi nag-iisip na yung mga yan eh. Di ba, na tungkol dyan.
So what's your take on extractive industries? Mining, logging, do they have a place in our economic development?
Actually, I'm pushing for industrialization. When you can never industrialize without mining. So, ang para sa akin is, when you mine, it should be processed here in the Philippines. Hindi pwedeng yung lupa natin na dadalhin mo sa ibang bansa. Kasi nangyayari ngayon, yung foreign companies, kukunin nila yung lupa, they're paying for the nickel, pero may kasamang gold yan. They only paid for the nickel. So, we should process it here and export the end products.
Okay, one more. Federalism. Of course, you're for federalism, but what
Yes.
kind of federalism? You have so many models on the table.
Yes, actually marami talaga yan na modelo ng federalism. I'm more on dun sa sa model ni former Chief Justice Puno.
The Puno draft.
Yes. I'm more for that. Kasi para sa akin, I'm for federalism. Habang kwentuhan yan. So pag nagle-lecture kami, umabot ng 3 hours. But to cut it short, I'm for federalism to provide plenty of jobs for Filipinos everywhere in the Philippines. Paano mo gagawin yun? You should leave more money to develop infrastructure sa LGU, sa mga malalayong lugar. But we should retain the anti-political dynasty provisions na nandun sa Puno version, of which, yun yung sinasabi ko. Kung titingnan mo yung top 12 sa survey ng Senatorial survey, karamihan yan political dynasties. So, kapag sila pa rin nanalo, it means Filipinos love political dynasties.
Okay. Mr. Francisco, almost out of time. We'll just give you a few seconds for you to give your final statements.
Yes. So, for me, simple lang naman ang gusto kong mangyari. Diba? Ang gusto ko, bawat Pilipino ay maging proud, maging Pilipino. Paano mo gagawin yan? Dapat lahat ng Pilipino ay bigyan mo ng buying power. Lagyan mo ng i-empower natin. Kasi pag ang bawat Pilipino ay meron trabaho, o negosyo na merong sapat na sweldo o ng kinikita, hindi yan mangangailangan ng awa. Hindi yan mag-iintay ng awa galing sa gobyerno o galing kanino man. So kapag ako ay mahalal bilang senador, gagawin natin ang mga integrated Senate bills. And it's a game of numbers. We should give and take. We should work closely and negotiate with our fellow senators and congressmen to pass laws that are good for the Filipino people na makakapagbigay ng trabaho para sa bawat Pilipino.